Greetings everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, Captain Ryan. Today's YouTube video is a subscriber submitted replay. This one comes from Irving, and he is in the Tier 10 British cruiser, the Minotaur. Yes, the Minotaur here, a mythical beast on paper, a paper warship in this game, but definitely no paper tiger, as Irving is going to just wreck the enemy team in this ship. So what makes the Minotaur so special? Well, it's the top tier British cruiser, so it doesn't have any high explosive. However, the gun reload time on the Minotaur, because it technically has autoloaders for its 152mm guns, means that it can fire 10 rounds faster than a gearing. That's every 3 seconds or less, depending on what captain skills and modules you have fitted. That is a ridiculous rate of fire. Combine that with the smoke screen, and torpedoes, and radar, and you're talking about a pretty damn impressive ship. Personally, I will probably never play the Minotaur, and there are a couple of reasons for that. Mainly because I simply cannot bring myself to suffer through the mid-tier British cruisers. I think the highest I've gotten is the Leander, and while I do love my Perth, I love my Perth because it has high explosive, and I don't particularly wish to suffer through the Leander. However, for those who do manage to suffer through the British low and mid-tier cruisers, you get up into those high-tier cruisers and you are left with some pretty awesome firepower capabilities. Personally, I think that the Minotaur sits a little too high in the water for my taste. It's got a nice big, flat, broad side to shoot at. And I kind of feel like, given the armor situation, it's just a sitting citadel magnet. And we're going to see some examples of that in this game as well. As the battle gets underway here, it is a Tier 10 match, obviously. Friendly destroyer behind Irving has fired off torpedoes and, well, nearly hits friendly Fletcher. Enemy torpedoes coming in there do manage to hit Irving, and that's not the only damage he will take in this battle. He pops his sonar capabilities, trying to spot enemy ships and torpedoes, and there is one of them right now. Enemy destroyer pops up, and of course you can see the torpedoes coming in there. Irving opens fire and manages to punish this destroyer. Come on, can he get the kill? Yes. Manages to finish him off for a first blood. Now, notice that off to a cracking start. Off to a kraken start. Maybe, perhaps, it's a little foreshadowing. But that would be spoilers. The enemy team at this point has the advantage. They have both A and C, while Irving's team is struggling to secure the B cap point. They have multiple enemy ships pushing up and kind of shooting at them in their general direction, causing them problems. As long as the enemy team holds those 2 cap points, they will be able to gain points faster. And because they've managed to take out one enemy ship, or one ship on Irving's team, it pretty much means that the enemy team is well up on points in comparison to Irving's team. Now, Irving has popped his smokescreen. He's sitting in here. They've managed to secure the B cap point, and he is not letting up on this poor Tirpitz off in the distance, just relentlessly plugging away with that armor piercing. Now, the armor piercing at this kind of angle on the battleships, not the best, because as you can see, a lot of bounces, a lot of ricochets coming off there, and what is penetrating isn't doing a lot of damage, comparatively speaking, to, say, high explosive. Then again, high explosive would probably be raking apart, but at the very least, it has the potential to cause fires. Now, of course, the reason for not having high explosive comes as a decision for more gaming, due to the fact that the smoke screens on these ships last so long. And as you can see there, the smoke screen wore off, and he's only got 10 or so seconds before his smokescreen is back up again. But he doesn't even need to use it, because friendly destroyer there lays a smokescreen for him. Unfortunately, the destroyer lays a smokescreen for him and then doesn't continue spotting that North Carolina off in the distance. And I'm pretty sure that North Carolina did get hit by torpedoes. Second enemy Fletcher pops up here, and he's very close. I'd be very concerned about possible torpedoes in the water at this point. So, this destroyer has popped up. Irving has got his guns pointed in this direction, and you saw how fast those rotate around. There are destroyers who don't have turrets that rotate that fast, and yes, I'm looking at you, Russian destroyers. But that's one of those kinds of things that the guns rotate incredibly fast. The rate of fire is incredibly fast. But you don't have that high explosive. Speaking of torpedoes, he gets his away at the battleship off in the distance there, though that battleship is angling away, and I think they're all going to run out of steam before they reach him. Friendly destroyer behind him, continuing to send torpedoes in that direction. Unfortunately for Irving, if he'd waited a few more minutes, this enemy battleship that's come around the headland of that island would be in perfect position to torpedo. Because of his positioning, he's really got nowhere he can turn, and he's well inside of that torpedo range. Enemy Fletcher pops up yet again. Irving is getting himself... He's backing up because he's afraid that there might be torpedoes in the water. And he's putting out armor-piercing fire on that Fletcher, and having been on the receiving end, I can tell you, I do not like dealing with Minotaurs or Neptunes sitting inside smokescreens at point-blank range. That battleship takes big ol' hits. I think a combination of torpedoes, Irving's gunfire, and a combination of another battleship behind shooting at him. That battleship had no hope of surviving. Irving's team has managed to equal out the team's list. It's been kind of hit or miss, if you can see that. But the enemy team is still up on points, considering, well, they've held on to A and C for the majority of this battle. Enemy torpedoes coming in there. Those are from one of the destroyers, more than likely. Looking at the spread, it's a US destroyer. I don't think Ken Irving torpedo beats this. No, takes one on the bow. That's going to cause a lot of damage, and of course it's going to cause flooding. And now he's got to deal with a Neptune that's dead in front of him. But he can beat the Neptune's reload nice and fast, and that Neptune is turned broadside on to get torpedoes away. And that is a mistake on the Neptune's part, because now Irving is just going to wreck him. Of course, that's not to say that that Neptune didn't do a damn good job wrecking him as well. And now he's got to dodge a whole hell of a lot of torpedoes. Can he do it? Ooh, very close. Very close. He is detected. This could be a bit of a problem. He's got a destroyer sitting up in the smokescreen, and he's got a couple of battleships sitting back behind that destroyer. Enemy destroyer pops up. He's already wasted his torpedoes. Irving has got very low health. Can he kill this destroyer and drop into concealment? Yes, he does manage to do that. Devastating strike. Because of the rate of fire on this ship, he was actually able to secure a devastating strike just off of rapid fire guns. Absolutely impressive. Wrecked the destroyer, and now he's using that enemy destroyer's smokescreen. He doesn't have a lot of HP left at this point, and he's got two battleships sitting up here. Enemy turrets up there, fires off torpedoes. Looks like Irving's going to just barely miss it. And oh my god, look how much health he has left. Wow. That battleship, that North Carolina, incredibly lucky to be able to hit him in here and not kill him. Irving, incredibly lucky it didn't kill him. His torpedoes find their home, and he secures his Kraken Unleashed on that enemy turrets. And now he's going to broadside and try and wreck this North Carolina. His North Carolina's found himself in a very, very nasty situation. He's got two destroyers on either side of an island, and a tier 10 cruiser that's just shooting at his nice flat broadside. But that North Carolina manages again to fire blindly and find him inside this smokescreen, and he citadels him, leaving him on not a lot of HP again. And Irving's repairability is off cooldown. This is an incredibly dicey situation for him because he's kind of caught, well, effectively out in the open. He can't try and push up and use an island for cover, because if he leaves the safety of his smokescreen, he will be spotted, and you can bet that North Carolina is going to turn his ship or his guns around to try and finish him off. However, that North Carolina, he's got a Shimakaze and a Fletcher firing off torpedoes at him, and he gets taken out by torpedoes. But there is another enemy battleship pushing up here. Somehow, if you've been paying attention to the quick pace of this action here, Irving's team has managed to pull the scores back, and they've actually managed to capture the sea cap point. The enemy team still has a Z-52 left, who was over at the sea cap point and is actually now pushed up north and is really just playing a delaying action, trying to get as much damage done as he can before the end of the battle. Friendly Fletcher capping the A cap point, leaving the enemy battleship here not a lot of options. He knows that there is a Minotaur somewhere up in the B cap point, and Irving's done a fantastic job of hanging on and defending this cap point. In some situations, some of the best things that you can do in a battle like this is to simply stick to your guns inside the cap zone that you're currently at and defend it, because you know the enemy team is going to try and push for it. If you can defend it long enough to whittle down the enemy team as they come around, you can effectively take them out one by one. Once they're low enough, your destroyers and fast cruisers can go and make those caps. Manages to kill that battleship with torpedoes, and just look at his wrecking total. 6 kills. 6 kills, Confederate high caliber Kraken Unleashed, 245,000 damage done. And not a lot of health left. He's got no repair ability left. He's got not a lot of HP left. But he does have a smokescreen left, so if he absolutely has to use it, he has that option ability. There are only 2 enemy ships left on the team, and one of them is incredibly low HP. It's this poor battleship, and he's all the way off in the distance, and he's basically being surrounded by enemy battleship after enemy battleship. He's on fire in multiple places. The flight time on Irving's guns, does it look like he's going to be able to secure a kill? Can he get number 7? And no, not quite able to steal that one, but doesn't matter. His team is now in an absolutely dominating position. All 3 caps, 1 enemy destroyer left, and they know his rough position up in the corner because of where the torpedoes are coming from, and of course, that poor destroyer has popped a smokescreen. Overall, a fantastic battle in this mythical beast of a ship. I don't personally think I've ever seen a Minotaur do this well, but I'm sure other YouTubers have seen the Minotaur do this well, but this is a personal best and record for my channel. Congratulations, Irving, on a very damn good and very damn impressive game. His team caps out for the victory, and they have secured a win. But I'd like to call attention to the fact that not only did he do 245,000 damage, not only did he get 6 kills, Dreadnought, Confederate, First Blood, High Caliber, and Kraken Unleashed, he earned 880,000 credits in a Tier 10 warship. That alone is an impressive number for Tier 10 if you know how the Tier 10 economy works. Top of the team for XP earned, and I do mean that, well over 3,000 base XP. A fantastic result by Irving. Good job, Irving. Thanks for sending this replay to me. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and leave a comment down below. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by liking and following my Facebook page. If you'd like to help support me and my channel, as well as get access to my battle replays early and some replays that don't quite make it to YouTube, you can become my supporter on Patreon. Any donation level, even as low as $1, will grant you access to those replays. If you've got a replay like this one that you'd like to see on my YouTube channel, you can do so by sending it to my email. And if you'd like to watch me play World of Warships live, among other games, as well as possibly building in LDD some of these fantastic LEGO models, you can do so by following my Twitch channel. You can find the links for all of those in the video description down below. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.